everybody.
Yes.
Long time no see.
Woo.
Boys from the PSG. Rocking on that RVN Radio Vision Network Sports Buzz channel.
Yes.
We're here today with you. Going to get a little caught up. We got some catching up to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get right into it, man. We haven't been on for a while. A lot of things have
A
happened.
little hiatus, but we're back now.
We're back now. We
Back
good.
now.
We
Doing the
good.
thing.
Same flavor never left.
Yes.
Just a little savor for
A
you.
lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. The 2015
Mm-hmm.
Eagles season, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Success.
7-9. Would you ever respect that? 7-9.
After that third preseason game, nah.
Listen, that preseason game, we was excited. I'm gonna be honest with you. I drank the Kool-Aid. I thought we was going to championship. You did too.
Super Bowl bust.
But it fell apart, and it was quick.
It fell apart, and then as the season progressed, you see how people weren't being utilized.
Right.
With any job, I think it's incumbent on the manager or the people in charge to use their employees to the best of their ability and put them in the right positions to succeed.
Absolutely.
So when you see DeMarco coming out of the shotgun, running east to west instead of north and south,
Every time I saw that, it did something to my soul, my spirit. It burned me up because it's why are you overthinking something? Run, run in between the tackles. He's a north south guy, not east and west. Give him the ball, go from there, off tackle.
And we all could see it, even as fans sitting home on the TV, whether you're in the bar, at PJ Willihan's, Chicky and Pete, anything like
any
that.
Any
Any
of the above.
of the above. Or in the confines of your own home, or whatever you're doing, listening on the radio. When you hear Merrill and Mike make the call, it wasn't good. Which ultimately led to the Patriots game. Kind of had a research, and that was a problem for me. It was like seemed like we had it, we got it, and then
we
had
the cuffs.
right on the opportunity, right there in the palm of our hands, and then we would just let it fall. Ultimately, what ended up happening is that plane ride with DeMarco talking to Jeff Lurie, and then right before the end of the season, which is a shocking move based from Lurie's past and how loyal he has been to his coaches, he decided to get rid of Chip.
Well, I'm gonna say this: I think the morale was just totally down, and and like you said, out of his character, Lurie, gave the team a pep talk, which he's never done before. So the morale was truly down. And then I think, with the way Chip was, the culture was, quote unquote, I think he just got tired of it. And he got the pulse, the sense of the pulse from the players. What are they saying, how they feel the environment is. And I just think he said, listen, let's just do it right now. We lost to Washington at home, which was so embarrassing, 38-17. When you had the lead, and then just to get embarrassed like that, I think Lurie was just humiliated, and he felt as though you know what, listen, I'm not going to wait another day. You're going, so
which ultimately I think was the right move.
Absolutely.
At the time. I will be the one to tell you that once he gave Chip the power, I don't think Howie should have stayed around. And the owners' meetings happened recently, and Chip had a chance to speak, which he didn't shy away from. He never shied away from answering questions, and there was a lot of Philly media there.
Right.
From here,
I think it was 8-2, eight Philly guys, and I think maybe two.
Yeah, he answered questions, and he kind of told you, like, look, I didn't talk to Howie personally after that happened, which is just a bad recipe.
Just morale. Morale. I mean,
I don't know what organization can run like that.
How can you have someone on the other side of the building who never talk? You just can't work like that.
And you can communicate. You know, middleman. And he's still doing the contracts.
Right.
So we look at that Maxwell contract. We look at that Murray contract, and you can tell how he has done from this offseason to the people that he has signed, how those contracts are very team friendly.
Right.
So it almost makes me believe that Howie did the contracts just to get the players in and didn't really put his.
So you're saying it was a sabotage?
I'm not saying
like that, but like
more
in a way, he set him up to fail, basically.
It's kind of set him up to fail. The whole situation was bad, but moving forward, that led us now to a coaching search, which was in depth. They had help from Jaworski.
Absolutely.
On it,
which was, I think, was kind of neat. Bring a guy back.
It could have been it could have been a COI conflict of interest because he is working for ESPN. He's employed for ESPN. They kind of let out to Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And we did end up with Doug Peterson. It's not a sexy.
I like it.
It's not a sexy hire.
Right.
Some people think it's off the Andy Reid tree.
But you know what though? That was our problem. We went sexy. We wanted the best looking girl out there. And you know what? Sometimes you got to go with the average Jane. Take that average Jane that's going to get you
good old reliable.
Good reliable. Will take care of you. Say, honey, it's okay. We'll be okay. We'll make it through it. Have that kind of girl.
Right.
And the thing is, going with Peterson, the one thing I love and you know, we can talk about this too.
Bringing
the
up your fullback.
So you got the fullback coming in, you know,
which I think is going to be Trey Burton, by the way. I don't think they're going to draft a fullback. You have 4 tight ends on the roster. Trey Burton's a smaller, more compact.
I like the kid from Kansas State, Gronkowski. Matter of fact, I like Gronkowski's little brother.
Gronk's little brother.
That's they're saying. Maybe 4th round, 5th round, you can grab him
for a fullback.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of fullbacks, want to give a rest in peace to Kevin Turner.
Yes,
KT. Passed away.
KT
from ALS, his long battle. I think he was diagnosed in 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
6 years, 6 years. Which is very sad.
Did a lot of good things even during this battle, bringing a lot of attention to ALS.
I actually liked him a lot as a player, man. He always had those good hands. He blocked well. He just did the little things that you needed, you know. And it's just so sad, you know.
It's just one of those things. Our condolences to his friends and his family. God be with you through this tough time.
Absolutely.
Definitely want to, as we get back to things here, the biggest thing about the Peterson hire that I like is just the staff. The staff from Jim Schwartz to Frank Wright to John DeFilippo. That just on the offensive side of the ball, at the quarterback position, you have 2 former quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, where you get a chance to really absorb all the information. You have to know the system and be able to communicate with your players and be able to diagnose everything on the field.
Right.
And then also John DeFilippo, who also was a quarterback. And then, regardless of what you want to say out of Cleveland, Johnny Manziel at times last year looked really, really good.
He did. He's just a knucklehead. Unfortunately,
it's just he can't get right off the field, you know.
Right.
So with that, even bringing in a quarterback such as Bradford and Chase Daniel,
who I love. I'm a big Chase Daniel guy, and a lot of people say
I'm a big Chase Daniel guy. I don't like Chase Daniel.
What has he done? Well, that tells you that there's something special about this guy. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's the world beater. I'm not saying that, but he can come in. He knows the offense. Come in there, you know, manage the game. You got a decent defense.
He knows the offense. He's been in the offense for the last 3 years.
You get a nice running back, which we'll talk about a little later. Hopefully, wink, wink. Get a nice running back. You know, control the clock. You may win about 9 or 10 games with Chase Daniel. It's a possibility.
But that means something will happen to Bradford, whether you move on from him and trade before the draft. Now, see, the only reason why I wouldn't do that is because pretty much Bradford's on a 1-year deal. It's an expensive 1-year deal, but it's a 1-year deal. I mean, you already got. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing called Snapchat. It's one of the newest phases of social media.
Well, the kids know about it.
The kids know about it. Yeah. Jordan Matthews is on there. Him and Sam Bradford were working out in Oklahoma at the campus university for the last 2 weeks, along with Zach Ertz. So these guys are trying to build a rapport and get that in. You know, put that work in.
Which is good. Which, you know, McNabb did the same thing back in the day.
And Arizona,
which I think is great. Yeah, Arizona, which I think is good.
Got Arizona. Now, I think the biggest addition to Doug Peterson's staff was Jim Schwartz.
Yes.
Being a first-time head coach, you want somebody on your staff that's going to be strong.
Right.
Schwartz has already been a head coach for the Lions. Who may not have had playoff success, but their defense was always in the top half of the league, if not top 10.
And then look what he did with Buffalo. He did a lot of good things with Buffalo. I think last year or the year before he was
2014,
there, they led with over 50 sacks, which was great.
They had the highest sacks in the league. They were the 4th ranked total defense, and you can see that in the moves that Howie made. And now they're starting to cater to their system to where we're bringing in the Nigel Bradham on defense, McKelvin, Ron Brooks as a special teams player. So he's trying to give the coach the tools that he needs for him to succeed.
And then the thing is, on top of that, I mean, look at the players that we have right now: the Vinnie Currys, the Grahams, the Barwins. Those guys are 4-3 guys. That's what they are. So if you put them in that wide 9 formula, we may have a nice sack total this year. You know.
Right. Now, as we talked about last year and this previously just now, you might have heard us mention names like a Nigel Bradley, a McKelvin, or Ron Brooks. Those are guys that are new free agent additions this year, which after the Peterson hiring and after the staff is built, how we did things, speaking of Roseman, how we did things that really almost water to wine in a sense.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple of deals. There's a couple of deals in there. It's a question mark. The Brandon Brooks deal, the Chase Daniel deal. I like what Chase Daniel brings to the team. I like what Brooks brings to the team. But the contracts, but other than that, getting rid of Maxwell, getting rid of Alonzo to move from 13 to 8.
That was the biggest heist. I don't know about you guys out there, but that has to be the most biggest heist. What is Miami Dolphins thinking about? Somebody please tell me. But seriously, what did you give up? Okay, yes, Kiko Alonso, he's not the same player he was in Buffalo. He's just not. Look what we did last year.
Maxwell wasn't.
And Maxwell's not the same player here. Yes, okay, yes, it's a better scheme fit for those guys over in Miami, but I think it's a heist. What do you think?
I don't know if it's a heist because I think Miami sees the value if they can get these guys right.
That's what
They
they're
needed
saying.
cornerback help. They got rid of Brent Grimes, albeit not for so much Brent Grimes.
Well, Brent
himself.
Grimes wasn't the same guy. He wasn't healthy.
And they needed linebacker
Right.
help. They weren't going to pay Olivier Vernon.
Right.
So they needed some type of. I know Alonzo's not a pass rusher, but hey, they're trying.
I mean, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's definitely an upgrade. And I actually deal with somebody it's a heavy Miami Dolphins fan, so I hear all about them every day. And it is an upgrade for them because last year what they had Misi and a couple other guys, and they just weren't getting the job done. So, but it wasn't a big upgrade.
So with all that being said, it was definitely a move that no one saw coming for us moving from 13 to 8. And with that, when we come back from break, we're going to talk about what the Eagles could possibly do with that 8th pick now that they sit there in the 2016 NFL Draft. We'll be back with you guys very shortly. We're going to take a little hiatus on a break. PSG, Radio Vision Network, Sports Buzz. We'll be back with you.
Yeah.
When it comes to injuries,
they're not all created equal.
that's why at Performance Spine and Sports Medicine,
Our team of doctors will coordinate and customize your care
to provide the best treatment options using the area's most advanced medical technology
all with one goal in mind.
to get you back in the game,
We call life
pain-free,
drug-free.
surgery-free. That's what we do here at Performance Spine and Sports Medicine.
Get better faster.
Stay better longer.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
What's up? PSG, we back.
Yes.
We back with that draft talk. We had left off with the trade from Howie Roseman, the magician.
Right.
I'm sorry. The magician moving from 13 to 8.
Right.
Stepping up to try to get the Eagles in the top 10. And the reason why he explained that he did that is because they really feel like there's 8 to 10 elite blue chip prospect players in this draft.
Right.
And after that, the talent kind of falls off.
Right.
So we now sit at number 8, right behind San Francisco. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to try to go off of this
Right.
off the top. If I'm wrong, you can check me on our PSG
I'm gonna check them. I'm gonna check them.
Check me on the PSG Facebook page.
Yes.
But I think the draft order is Tennessee at 1,
Cleveland at 2, right.
San Diego 3,
3,
Dallas
4,
Jacksonville 5,
5.
6 is Baltimore, 7 is San Fran,
Yes,
8
and then 8 is us.
It's us. I think I'm right.
Yeah,
You can check me on
think
that.
you're on that. Yeah, I think
Pat
you're
on the
right.
back. Good job to me.
So who are you feeling? Who are you actually feeling though? At
It
this
depends.
point?
It really depends. A lot of the moves we made in free agency were all somewhat defensive, the offensive line. I really think that what we don't have is we don't have that X factor player on offense.
Right.
And I know it's not cliche and the positions devalue,
Absolutely.
but the boy is young. He's 21
Listen.
years old, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that bell cow out of Ohio State,
That
Mr.
workhorse.
Ezekiel, Old Testament Elliott.
And just to pick up off what you're saying, listen, we don't have a home run hitter right now.
Nope.
We don't have a home run hitter. And I think, to be honest with you, all signs are leading to Ezekiel Elliott. You bring in Ezekiel Elliott, listen, that's a home run hitter.
Right, you kind of you got your bookends right now for at least this year. And
At
I
least
know-
another year, right.
I know people want probably to take a Stanley or take an offensive tackle.
But see, I look at it like this. You can go down the line and maybe, if you can trade, hopefully, into the second round, you can get the other tackle in the second
You
round.
may be able to get the tackle in the second
Yeah, I
round.
mean-
You may be able to get somebody like Indiana's Jason Spriggs,
Right.
who's really raw, but he's very talented. But
Right.
another reason why I said I don't think they're going to go offensive line is because Howie Roseman was at the owners' meeting this past week, and he stated that the 2 deepest positions he feels in this draft are defensive tackle and
Right.
offensive line.
Which is very, very deep. this year.
Very deep. They have a lot of.
Right.
We have no second round pick. I understand. Sam Bradford. There you go again. Nick
Right.
Foles. But we have 2 3s. We have the top of the 4th round pick now.
Then we have 2 5s and 2 7s as well.
Thanks to the DeMarco Murray trade, by the way. And then we have 2 5s. We have 2 7s and 1 6.
Right.
So we're looking good. We can get help. But I mean, outside of say if a curveball gets thrown, and say a lot of mock drafts, such as WalterFootball.com. If you haven't had a chance to check the site out,
Very
please
good
check
site.
it out.
Very
Very
good
good site. Very good source of information. Also, Bleacher Report, wherever your new traditional ESPNs, they have San Francisco taking Jared Goff at number 7.
Right. Some of them have Jared Goff and some of them have Michael Jack as well coming in as well. Right.
But you know who the coach is out there now. And that's Chip Kelly, who always thinks he's the smartest man in the room.
Absolutely.
So I would not be surprised if they don't take Jared Goff.
And go with Miles Jack.
Or go Miles Jack,
Right.
or go Zeke Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas may go Zeke Elliott. This time of year, you never know what teams are going to do.
Well-
You always had these stories coming out. I think it was a story this past week where Ezekiel Elliott, who's projected to go to us in a lot of mock drafts, came out to where he was so-called, unquote, doing MDMA and party drugs.
Right.
He's a very eclectic, eccentric guy.
Right. It's synthetic. It's synthetic.
I don't care about that. If there's no arrest warrants out, it's just
Well,
rumors. I don't
But here's
care.
the problem, though. You got to be careful nowadays. Everything going on with all these young kids. I mean, think about it. Look at Marcavius Bryant.
Yes.
He's done for the whole year. So I mean, you got to kind of, see do all your research and see what the case is.
Yeah,
with
and
the
I think they'll
situation.
do their due diligence and
You
their research. But on the field,
Right. Well, of
the
course.
boy said he loved to block.
Absolutely. Which is
In
great.
this day and age, in this football, this two-hand touch football that some people call, it's not the old
Right.
Wes Hopkins, Will Fuller, Reggie White. Bring it every day with the pain football.
You're not bringing lunch pail no more. It's just different.
It's
Different.
that's the exception. It's not the rule
Right.
anymore. And trust me, I understand that you possibly can do 2-3 rounds later to get a running back. But if you look, like Howie Roseman said, if you look at the highest production in the top 10 running backs over the last 50 years in the draft era, how many people have been in the top 10? Most of those running backs that's been in the top 10 have been early round picks, first or second round.
Right.
And look, the only reason I would possibly say go with Vernon Hargreaves or my favorite player in the draft is Miles Jack. I love Miles Jack. I don't
Well,
know where.
let me just
they
pick a big
loaded
off
a linebacker. I don't know where you would put him, but
Right.
when you find him,
Right. Now the thing is, I mean, and Miles Jackson. Yes, I do like him a
he
lot.
can run the ball too. By the way, so
Yeah, I mean he's a dual threat, but I mean honestly, let's be honest, I don't think that Miles Jackson's going to be there at that time. Now let me just spin it another
people,
way.
you see my fingers across.
Let me just spin another way. Laquan Treadwell. Let's just
At
let's
8
just,
though.
Laquan Treadwell. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big college fan. Hello, all the college fans out there, but Treadwell is the real deal Holyfield. I'm telling you, this guy can play. Let's be honest with you. If he doesn't break his leg last year,
Yeah,
he's a top 5 pick.
If he came out last year, he'd been a top,
top 5. So listen, you pick up, if you don't get Ezekiel Elliott, which I think is a sexy pick. If you can't get Elliott, grab Treadwell. Instantly he comes in. He can give you about 60, 70, maybe 80 balls. It's a possibility. And then give you 1,000 yards. That's a home run hitter. Right now, we don't have a home run hitter.
I can't say he's a home run hitter because he only has 4 or 5 speed. But he does have the ability to separate.
The guy knows how to catch the ball. He knows how to get the ball to the highest point. I watched a lot of his games. He's a real deal. I'm telling you.
Some would say that may be a reach, but you think at 8 that would not be a reach?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Now, what do you think?
He's a top 5 talent. Last year, if he doesn't get hurt, he's a top 5 talent. You're getting a top 5 talent at 8. The value high. I think you take it.
All right, so let's say that's the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, let's say if you have, say Stanley's gone, the
Right.
tackle from Notre Dame.
Right.
Somebody in that top 10 is going to take a slip. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Somebody takes an unsuspected fall down the draft.
Right.
I really believe that person this year could be Joey Bosa, the 4-3 defensive end out of Ohio State.
I mean, yeah.
J.J. Watt-esque. There's only one J.J. Watt.
It's true.
But if he's there, if Bosa's there,
At 8?
if Bosa's there, that means Elliott's gone.
Listen, Bosa's going to Dallas. And I hate to say it, but who other than Lawrence, who does Dallas have at defensive end? They're giving up on Hardy. Bosa's going to Dallas.
True.
I think this.
I think Dallas. If San Diego passes on Jalen Ramsey,
which will be a big mistake.
I think
Which would be a big mistake.
because San Diego needs offensive line help too. So Stanley can go.
They do.
I think it can go Tunsil,
But
Wentz, Ramsey, Stanley at those top 3 picks. I think Bosa and Elliott can be sitting there.
True. But the thing is, back to San Diego, the problem is though you lose Eric Weddle. They don't have the safety help, so that actually does make a lot of sense.
I think Ramsey
Bringing in Ramsey at San Diego, I think that's the best deal for them.
So now we're sitting here. We've been talking about the draft for 2016. I think it's April 28th. Eagles sitting at the number 8 spot. There was a report from Lance Zierlein, courtesy of NFL.com, that came out this week that there's a lot of chatter, and that you always get chatter this time of the year, talking about the Eagles potentially being one of 4 teams that move up to the number 1 pick
right.
to draft Carson Wentz.
A lot of the experts out there are saying that it's a wild card situation. The wild card is really Cleveland. You just don't know. They're at the 2nd pick. Anything can happen. It's so hard. This is one of the drafts. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is one of the drafts that you just don't know. Yeah, sure. You can finally say, okay, Tunsil might be number 1, but Cleveland just picked up RG3, so
They picked up RG.
they can come back. They can actually trade down, and then let's say get a Goff or someone else. But to be honest with you, they have this new guy who's more of an analytics guy. The GM guy came from
Paul DiPotesto.
yeah, came from one of the baseball teams. And one of those analytic
I
guys.
think he was with the Mets.
Was it the Mets?
I'm not.
I'm
Don't
not
hold
sure.
me to that. I'm
But,
not sure.
But what I'm saying is, with those analytic guys, they love assets. So Cleveland needs a lot of assets right now. So it's a no-brainer. They're going to trade down. That's just my opinion. I think they're going to trade down, get more assets. So RG3 coming to the Cleveland Browns really, really shook up the draft if you really think about it.
This is the thing. On the surface, it shook up the draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you think on the surface. But there's a reason why the Eagles and all other 4 teams reported,
Right.
like Los Angeles, trying to get to the number 1 spot because they still believe they have to get in front of Cleveland to draft Wentz, which means Cleveland still wants to draft Wentz. His pro day was this week, which
Right.
he threw 63 out of 65 passes
Right.
scripted.
Mhm.
And look, there was only one head coach there.
A lot of scouts were there, right? Only
A
one
lot of
head coach.
scouts there. There was only one head coach.
Yeah.
Who was that head coach?
Who was it? You tell me.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
He's the coach of who?
Hugh Jackson. Cleveland Browns.
Who has picked what?
Number 2. But that's still a smoke screen. I'm telling you.
I can't say it's a smoke screen, Aaron.
At the
because
end of the day, you have to understand this analytics. And anyone that knows about analytics and has followed basketball, football, baseball, any analytics, these guys are number crunchers. This is what they do. They're going to sit there and they're going to look at the numbers and they're going to look at the assets and say, look, Cleveland Browns, we're horrible. We have been horrible for 3 to 4 years, a century of long years. Let's get better. How do we get better? Let's add assets. I'm telling you.
I can see your point because they just got the 2nd overall pick from a 2012
Absolutely.
draft, Rookie of the Year, RG3. However, it's a risk reward.
Isn't that a song?
It's a risk reward. I don't know.
I don't
You
know.
tell me.
Is it time for the break?
It may be time for a break, so I'm going to come back to this RG3. We're going to come back to it.
Right.
PSG, RVN, Radio Vision Network, Sports Buzz.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
C.
Hey, PSG, SBC,
To the SBC.
RVN. Let me stop. I'm going to keep my day job.
Yeah.
PSG, Philly Sports Guys, Sports Buzz Channel,
Yes.
RVN, Radio Vision Network. This is our 3rd and final segment.
Yes,
Sad,
it is.
sad. But hey, guess what? We've been told this is going to be a weekly thing.
Yes.
So get used to these 2 faces because we're going to be
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
We ain't
absolutely.
going nowhere.
Flyers. Fly guys looking good, right?
I see how you tried to get me back after the segment because we left off. We was talking about RG3. And
Yeah.
you want to skip to the next segment. So
Well, listen,
we
the
gonna
Flyers
say-
is hot, man.
We're going to say that. We're going to say that for next week.
Yeah,
I'm
we
going to
got some time. We got some time. We got some time. But the Flyers, let's talk about
the
them.
Flyers have been doing. It's a couple things with the Flyers.
Yes.
Overall, ghostish bear. I can't.
Just say ghost.
Gosh,
Just say
Just
ghost.
the ghost.
The ghost.
The ghost.
Listen, they're the hottest team right now in Philly right now. And
In Philly, they're the hottest team in the NHL.
NHL. I mean, let's
In
be
the
honest.
NHL.
Let's be honest. Right now in Philly, we have no playoff teams.
No playoff.
We're
teams.
horrible right now. We're not.
Wasn't it 2 years ago? Last year we was trying to push a Little League team because we had no playoff team.
Yeah, listen. We're bad. We're really bad right now.
Man.
We're not Cleveland bad.
Is
But
that-
we're
is
bad.
that- is that the
Cleveland's
standard?
bad. Besides LeBron, who they have? Nothing.
And they might not have LeBron that much longer. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's
discussion.
another subject. Yeah.
With the Flyers over the last, they win in different ways.
Right.
The only thing I can really say is just they come out real flat in the first period, and you can't live and die by that. I want them to see to control the game, the whole game, like they have done before.
Right.
They had a bad
That
overtime
Columbus game
loss
was just-
in Columbus,
that was
giving
rough.
up 2 goals
Yeah.
in the last 5 minutes of the game.
And then they ended in the shootout, right?
And
In the
they
shootout?
lost in the shootout. We're
Yeah.
we're horrible in the shootout.
Horrible. What we like 1 in
I
like
don't know.
84?
I don't know the
We're
record,
bad.
but I just know when we in the shootout, chances are we're not
We're not
gonna
gonna win. We're not gonna win.
There was a play in that game, and we may not seem like the type of guys that talk about hockey.
Yeah, we
but
talk a
look,
little bit. We
4
know
for
a
4.
little bit.
I stick my
We're
feet
4
in the
for 4.
water a little bit. I
Right.
dabble.
Yeah.
There was a play in overtime where Ghost saved the puck from going across the blue line.
Right.
This prevented icing. dived for it in his hand, in his glove hand.
I must miss that one.
Passed the puck to Simmons. Imagine. See, really, I'm gonna break it down to the people of my affluent.
The layman's.
Us.
The layman's, right?
When you watch hockey, hockey is essentially basketball on ice.
That's you know what? I never thought about it like that.
It's like imagine
really good.
imagine AI or Aaron McKee in 2001, 2002 saving the ball from going out of bounds, getting it, hitting AI on the snipe, breaking to the hole. The Ghost did that and hit Wayne Simmons, and I don't know what this brother was doing.
Right.
But it didn't go down. But if it went down, I'm trying to tell you, it was one of the top 10 plays of the year in any sport across any platform.
Wow.
I
missed that one.
I bring up Simmons because, as you can see, we are of African American descent. Wayne Simmons, and I really want the Flyers. If you know anybody, work with the team to really get a hold of this. And I heard it on some
tickets. Can we get some tickets?
I heard of this on some other sources.
Right.
There's only very few African American players that play in the NHL. I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's less than 15.
Yeah, it's like maybe
Wayne
8.
Simmons is not only just a player on a team. He's not just taking a roster spot. He has the A on his jersey.
Right. He's playing.
He's an assistant captain. He has like 25 or 27 goals this year, and he plays a prominent role in the team.
Right.
When we're looking for athletes and somewhat not role models inside the home, but giving kids from the inner city youth what they could be a way out.
Right.
We need to market that.
We do.
We need to channel that.
I really do.
We really do need to channel that. So I mean, if you're hearing me out there, I don't see enough young kids of my descent wearing the 17 Simmons jersey, T-shirt with his name on the back. Anything Flyers related, and trust me, they're the hottest thing going right now. They're must-see TV.
Listen, we need a playoff team. We need some type of playoffs bad.
They play the Coyotes tonight.
Right.
Steve Mason's banged up, but he's going to be in between the pipes.
And they should win. And they should win tonight. So we'll see.
You got Detroit playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been on the road. The Islanders just lost last night, a big game. So we're 2 points behind the 7th spot, the first wild card spot, because you don't want to see the Capitals this
first
year.
round, not
the
at
Capitals
all.
this year
nothing to play with.
It's been amazing.
Nothing to play with.
Yeah. Speaking of playoff teams, we're kind of in the postseason.
Well, time out. I know we're going on about the Flyers, which I love, but the most important thing we're forgetting. I know you don't want to talk about it, but we got to talk about Nova. We got to talk about Nova.
There is a postseason going on. It's a little crazy. What is it called? Is it called
March Madness?
Oh, that's okay.
What it's called?
Yeah, March Madness, right?
But listen, I kind of spin that off. Listen, Nova. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to watch them, but they're really exciting. I mean, they're averaging 60, 70 points a game. They're playing great defense. They're shooting. They have the highest total with 3-pointing.
They're shooting 60% through the first
29
what's that, how many games?
3 points, I think it is. Yeah,
they're shooting 60% from the field right now. For the first 3 games of the March Madness tournament. Right. I want to say this. I understand what he's saying right now. They're playing the best basketball
which is tough. Which is going to be tough.
They're playing great team defense. And the difference between this Nova team and other Nova teams in the past, I think it's the first time they made the Elite 8 since 2009.
2009, right.
Is those teams rely heavily on their offense. If the offense wasn't flowing, then they didn't have great defense. This team plays great defense and
great defense.
There's 7 or 8, 9 people deep on the bench.
Right.
They have a very nice rotation, and they score in different ways.
Right, and just to add to that, they got about a couple of prospects that might sneak into the NBA. Chris Jenkins. I mean, I think if he wants to go to the NBA, he has to lose about 10 pounds. He's a little on the heavy side, but he can shoot. He can shoot the lights out. And O'Chiefy, am I saying that right? No. O'Chiefy, I'm saying wrong. I'm saying the man's name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I can't get him on Sheffield because I can't say the
Archie. Yeah,
he still can't say it.
Yes,
Ryan, the senior.
He's playing well. I like him a lot. He's scrappy. You know, and he can shoot. You never know. He might get on the NBA team as a summer league guy.
It's what I like about tonight's matchup. I think they tip off at 8:49.
8:49 tonight.
Against Kansas is.
It's a tough game.
It's Kansas obviously with Bill Self.
Right.
Great defense, great press. It's 2 complete teams playing against each other, and you don't. That's very, very rare in college now when you get teams with upperclassmen that have stayed 2 or 3 years and played together.
Like Michigan State, of course.
Michigan State, who took the loss to Middle Tennessee, messed up everybody's.
So let me ask you this question, and a lot of people are saying this. I mean, to be honest with you, I hope we win. I don't think we are, but I'm really seeing Kansas, North Carolina in the finals. I think North Carolina, even though I'm not a North Carolina fan, I'm a Duke fan, to be honest, and Nova. but I think North Carolina is the favorite. To be honest with you, I
Nothing
think they
about
have.
him screams Duke. I just want to
Listen, I
didn't know that
Hey,
until just now.
I told you that. Listen, I've been a Duke fan.
So I must have.
I've been a Duke fan, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I've been a Duke fan since '85. Danny Ferry, Johnny Dawkins, Amaker. Say right there, boom.
Tommy Amaker.
Yes. So my thing is, I just feel
who's the
it's gonna be
assistant
North
coach
Carolina.
for Duke right now? Is going to be the head coach in waiting.
Capel. Come on, man. I know my stuff, man.
Just got to get in every
y'all
once in
see
a while.
Y'all see that? See? Come on.
Just got to get in every once in a while.
I know my stuff. I know my stuff.
I mean, yeah, I can see if Nova plays the way they have been, because Kansas didn't look that great against Maryland. I think Maryland more lost that game than Kansas won it.
Yeah. I think the stage might have been too big for them.
Yeah.
You know, besides having Melo and Suleiman, those two guys, I mean, they're the NBA process, by the way. But I think the stage at that time might have been just too big for them. Right. And I think Kansas, because they've been there so many times, the stage, they're used to it.
But I will tell you this. I mean, I love Kansas. I love Nova. If Nova plays the way they've been playing, shots been falling, Kansas can't do nothing with it.
Absolutely.
Because if you can't play defense when you got great offense.
Right.
And when you play great offense, it can lead to your defense being better because you can make your team more one dimensional.
Right.
Ellis from Kansas gets a lot of points inside the paint. He has a little outside game, but can't shoot the three.
Can't shoot the three.
On the other side of the bracket, you got. I think tomorrow you have North Carolina playing Notre Dame, and you have
Syracuse.
Oklahoma playing.
No. Oklahoma's playing Oregon tonight.
Oregon tonight.
Yeah, and then tomorrow Syracuse is playing Virginia, which is going to be a great game.
There's a lot of ACC teams.
You know what? You know what's funny? I was just checking online, and they were saying the ACC is slated to make at least $40 million. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
$40 million, man.
But education
that's
is
crazy.
all we get. That's a whole different.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different show.
I could spend hours and hours just on that.
Yeah.
But I like this time of year because Nova's in it. Mm-hmm. We could segue that into the upcoming ping pong balls that we about to get in May.
Yes.
And the NBA draft,
which I'm excited about.
I think the Sixers draft this year is way more important than the Eagles draft because the Sixers draft this is what you've been building to since we started the process.
The process.
Because you're going to have OKC's pick, you're going to have Miami's pick, and then you're going to have your pick. Wherever that pick may fall at the Sixers pick, you have the right to reserve Sacramento's pick and swap. So you're definitely going to have at least 3 picks.
Right. Between the top 15.
We all want that Lakers pick.
And when you say you say 15, as far as picks, you're saying at least top 1 through 15, they're going to get 3 picks.
Well, because I think Miami, I don't know if you noticed this time. Miami's the 3rd seed in the East.
Yeah, so
Miami's quietly having a very, very good year in the East.
Without Bosh.
OKC's going to make the playoffs.
Right.
So those 2 picks, the OKC and Miami pick, are going to be towards the bottom half.
Yes.
Bottom half of the first
20,
round.
Top 25.
With the Sixers pick, speaking of where we're going to land, speaking of the top teams that are left in March Madness, one is not there, Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram. And when we come back next week, we're going to talk about the comparison of those 2 players, who we would want if we potentially get the number 1 overall pick, and say somehow, some way, I like Ingram too. I don't like to agree with him because the Duke thing, but
he's a hater. He's a hater.
We'll get more into it next week, but somehow, some way, when we leave you guys today, just hope and pray that we get the Lakers pick as well. Because I know the league wants the Lakers to be good.
We're going to talk about that because there is a sabotage that's getting ready to happen, and I'm gonna do a whole little segment on it so y'all can understand that it's a fix that's going to happen with the Lakers.
Okay,
it's a fix.
So it's a fix.
We'll talk about it.
Well, hopefully, if you guys are bored today on Saturday morning, we gave you a good little fix right here for the past hour. Give you good sports talk.
Right.
My boy Aaron.
Yes.
Pete. This is PSG.
Yes.
SBC.
SBC.
RVN, Radio Vision Network.
PSG.
Sports West Channel.
SBC.
We out.